हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल में क्विक टू लर्न। टुडे वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट व्हाट इज फाइल इन पाइथन एंड हाउ कैन वी एक्सेस to read the file and write the file operation in Python. So let's discuss. So first is the what is file. So Python provide an inbuilt function for creating, writing and reading the files. So files are the system that you can store your data inside it. So there are the two types of files that can be handled in Python. So two type of files that can be handled by the Pythons. First is the normal files. You know that it's the .txt files that can be handled by the Python, and another is the binary files. Binary files also, you know that if the files contain the data in the form of zeros and ones, it's called a binary language. So that can what you can store that types of zeros and ones data. And the text files, in these files, the types of files, each files of text is terminated with a special character. This files is .txt files can be terminated by the end of line character is all the new characters. And the second is the binary files. Second is the binary files that can be handled. So binary files can be handled. Binary files, in this types of files there is no terminator. There is no terminator in binary files. The data is stored after converting it into the machine understandable language. It's called a binary language because machine can understand what language. It's a zeros and ones language, and it can be stored the data in the form of binary language, so it can be understandable by the computers. And the what was the file access modes, what was the access mode in Python? So there is the many access modes. First is the read, write and append. There are the three access modes in Python. So first access mode govern the types of operation possible in the open files, and it is the referred to how the file will be used at open. And this modes also define the location of the file handles and the file handle is the key like a cursor which define from where the data has been read and write in the file. So there are the six access modes. I say that there are the three, but if R plus and the W plus, there are the three more than access modes in Python. So first is the read. Read is only defined with the R. So open file for reading. This handle is positioned at the beginning of the file. If the file does not exist, raise the input output error. So input output error can be raised during if the file does not exist. So this is also the default mode in which files is open. If you open a files and there is no access mode, so by defaults R means read file should be allocated. And the second is read and write, R plus. We say that R plus read and write. So R plus read and writes open the file for reading and writing. Reading and writing. Open the file, reading and writing. The handle is position beginning of the files. Raise the input output error if the file does not exist. It's also show the error if file does not exist. So which error can be raised is called input output error. And thus another is write only. Write only, open the file for writing. File for the existing file, the data is truncated and overwritten. Truncated means the file content should be deleted if the file is open in the read mode. The handle is positioned at the beginning of the file. Create the file if file does not exist. If you have not the files, and you can open the file as a read write mode, so it create the files if file does not exist, or if file exists, so they truncate the data and overwritten it data. And the read and write is the another operation is read plus write because it's called the w plus and open the file for reading and writings. So existing file data is truncated and overwritten. The handle is positioned at the beginning. Read and writes if file does not exist, it creates. And append only. Append only means they can add the data at the last. Open the file for writing. The file is created if the file does not exist, and the handle is positioned at the end of the file, so the data being written will be inserted at the end. Append will be inserted at the end after the existing data. And the another is append and reads is a plus, is r plus w plus a plus are the three, and a r and w is the another. Append and read the file. So open the file for reading and writing. The file is created if does not exist, because append will be written something. So the file is created if file does not exist, and the handle is present at the end of the big files. The thing is written will be inserted at the end after the existing file. If file does not exist, it create the files, and the append will be at the written at the last. And the how files are loaded in the primary memory, because you know that. So there are the two kinds of memory in computer. First is the primary, and the second is the second is the secondary. So memory even file that's saved anyone saved in the secondary memory, because you can save your file as a secondary memory. If you loaded your files for writing or reading purpose, so file that can comes from the secondary memory to the primary memory for the reading purpose. A primary memory is called the main memory. So need to change in a text file just to work with them in Python. You need to load the file into primary memory. Python interact with the file loaded in the primary memory or memory through file handler. So this is the files are loaded in the primary memory. And the opening a file, how you can open a file. So open a file in Python, you just need a open functions. So no module is required for importing this function. Only you can use that open and braces. The open and with square braces. And file object, what was the name of the file object, and open is the function, and you can return the file name and the access mode, which access you can using the file as a read mode, write mode, or the append mode. So the file should exist in the same directory. It's what if what was the r. So r denoted if you are the slash and t whatever you needs, so you can use r. And the how you can open the file. So you can open the file, just what was the object, file object, open was the function, and the file name at txt because it's the text files, and a is the append mode. So close, what you how can you close the file in Python? So close the file in Python is used the close function. So close function close the file and freeze the memory space acquired by that files. It is used at the time when the file is no longer needed, or if it is to be open in different file modes is file.object. If you open a files and you are not working that file, so you can simply close that files, and you never close that files, the file acquires the memory and space in your CPU and the working slow. So you can just simply close the file, close the file. And the other is how you can close the file. So how you can close the file, simply you can close the file, just open, first you open the file, then file object dot close function can be used to close the files. And reading from a file, how you can read the content of data from the file. So there are the three ways that can be show you. First is the read only the read bytes in the form of string, read n bytes if there is no any specified, reads the entire files. And read lines, read the entire lines. And the other is read lines, all the content of the files can be read simply by the read lines. And the n is treated as special character of 2 bytes. And the other is how you can, this is the example that's on in the video, how you can, first you can open the file, okay, and write. So firstly you write the files. So file dot write, it's a single line. Write lines l is the contents multi-line. And f dot close, how you can close the file. So you can close the file dot close, and file dot open, and read contain all the reads the data from the files. And the other is append. What was the append? Can insert the data in the file at the last. If the file does not exist, it simply creates the files. Or create the file, so write the data at the end. So what was the append? First you can open the file. What was the name of the file? And it's write access mode. And L is the variables that can be store the multi-line string, and it can be added to the file dot app dot write lines. Write and write lines. Write means you can simply add the single line, and write lines is simply the multi lines can be added the files. So how you can open? Firstly open the file that can be write write single lines today can be append at the last, and f dot close can be filed. So this is the simply the lecture of file in Python. So guys, thank you watching my videos, and subscribe and likes my channels and share as well as. So thank you guys.